One is best known for being a child actor and later Frodo. The other may be best known for his geriatric roles, but prior to that, James Bond. Can our contestants today connect Elijah Wood to Sean Connery? Let's find out together on 5 to 9. Welcome to 5 to 9, the movie game for movie fans. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg, and we're coming to you from Asbury Park's most independent movie theater, the Showroom Cinema. Do you love movies? Do you love looking through the IMDb, the Internet Movie Database? Do you love thinking about who is that guy? Who is in that thing? What's his face? Then this is your game, and this show is for you. Our first guest today thinks they should stop making all those stupid Cars movies, and I have to find out, do we mean the Pixar ones or the Fast and Furious ones? Our first guest, please welcome Mark Brunetti. Mark Brunetti, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Mark, which Cars movies do they have to stop making?
Well, I just got really confused when I saw the animated one and I was like, all right, everyone's a car. And then all of a sudden they were racing and they were Fast and Furious. And I was like, I don't get the sequel to this.
Wait, do you think Cars is a prequel to Fast and Furious?
Well,
I actually think it's the other way around. I think the Fast and Furious takes place now, and Cars takes place in a dystopian future where all the humans are dead and the AI cars are running civilization.
Hence, I'm confused. Let's stop making sequels to these movies.
Well, we have just simplified it for you. Now, Mark, you work at Grounds for Sculpture. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I manage guest services there. My job is to make sure everyone's having a good time, and lots of sculptures and things.
Mark, I'm going to be real honest. We don't care that you work at reception. Can you tell us about Grounds for Sculpture?
Oh. Well, they're sculptures.
Reception's great. We sell tickets.
Let me tell you about the ticket purchasing process at Grounds for Sculpture. And movie related, we do have an awesome sculpture of Marilyn Monroe with her famous scene with the dress
from the
kind of coming up
itch.
over the grate. Yeah, 7-year itch. So we got a little movie reference there.
All right. And you want them to never stop making Wes Anderson films, but you told me that you thought it was a franchise, like a sequel. Is it a Wes Anderson contiguous universe? Do these characters exist in the same universe? And if so, is the Fantastic Mr. Fox in it?
Yeah, I do believe they are all the same universe, but like most of our lives, we're huge. We have multitudes. We all have different personalities. I remember when Matt Raspanti was a librarian. We all have our different worlds that we were in. So yeah, Wes Anderson, let's keep that franchise going.
All right. So essentially you feel that some of the Royal Tenenbaums could potentially go to Rushmore.
Yeah, that was just them in their 20s or 30s, and then Rushmore was teens.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And welcoming back to the show for our first rematch of season 2, we are bringing in Matt Raspanti. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Matt, you are in a band called Foes of Fern. I feel like you are one of the most prolific musicians in the area. You're in so many bands, but this is your biggest effort. And you guys actually have a song called Rerun that works in a lot of movies and classic TV references. Can you tell us about that?
So, Matt Fernicola, who is the leader of the Foes of Fern, he wrote a song that is mostly about wanting to, sort of take a break from doing all the new stuff and trying to come up with something new to do all the time and just, sit down and watch some old movies or watch some reruns with your friends, which is essentially the idea for the song. And then we tried to chalk as many references and musical cues to TV and movies and anything that we liked, but we tried to throw as much of that as possible to hopefully get a cease and desist from some studio, which I'm finding out that we did a lot, but we did too cleverly, where we slightly changed keys and time signatures around, but we have found a nice way of legally throwing in all these references and not having to worry about anything. The biggest thing we had to worry about was our album cover, which was Fern sitting on a couch watching his TV, and then everybody behind him in the window is all TV or movie characters.
Sure.
And that was where we got into intellectual property.
Gotcha.
As long as it was drawn by an artist and not a photo scan, you can use it.
There you go. So, an interesting fact about, trying to figure out how do you write these songs without getting in trouble, running afoul of the copyright laws, is that the Monty Python guys, when they made the Ruddles, All You Need Is Cash, they took actual Beatles songs And they took the chord progressions and they played them in reverse order. And that's how those songs sound so much like Beatles songs without actually being Beatles songs and running afoul of that, despite the fact that they were very close friends with George Harrison, who did help fund
Brian.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct.
Actually, that's one of the best part of the Ruddles is that they got an Indian guy to play George Harrison. That's it's just such a funny because they're friends, so you can make that kind of joke to a friend, but it's just so, it's good. It's just really good.
Not quite from Dewey Cox, Wildcard, the Dewey Cox story,
Wrote
where they
a song
had
about an octopus. I love that movie. That's a good one,
man,
too.
I watched that scene last week. So, all right, guys, before we play 5 to 9, we're going to do a little warm-up round. Before the show, we asked you to write down the names of 5 actors. We're going to pull one out of the hat and give you 60 seconds to name as many of their movies as possible. So any movie this person's appeared in will count. Jason, do you have 60 seconds on the clock?
I definitely had it this whole time, Eric.
All right, so guys, we need to come up with as many movies in 60 seconds as we can for Harrison Ford.
Ooh. 60 seconds, and we're not writing anything down, right?
Any movies?
Harrison Ford, that's really easy because you've got Star Wars.
That's how many movies?
A New Hope.
1.
Empire Strikes Back.
2.
Return of the Jedi.
3.
Force Awakens.
Taking
4.
that franchise, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom,
5,
Raiders
6,
of the Lost
7.
Ark. The one with his dad.
Last Crusade.
There you go.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, the one
Here
with
we
the
go.
crystal
There's
skull.
another one coming out soon.
But we're up to 8 movies so far.
What about the one where he's a rich guy and he forgets everything?
Oh, K-19 Widowmaker?
That's a different movie, but he's in it. I'll
All
give
right.
it to you.
Where he's a rich
Russian
guy?
accents and all.
Where he's a rich guy and he...
Think of
He gets-
other movies.
He gets like shot in the head. Oh,
What
The
Lies
Fugitive.
Beneath?
The Fugitive.
I got
or The
one.
Fugitive.
What Lies Beneath. We're at 11.
Yeah.
All right.
Patriot Games.
There you go.
Was he in the Patriot Games?
He was.
He was.
He also played Jack Ryan in the second movie.
He's going to be in a Marvel movie.
Didn't
coming
we
up.
mention
He
that?
will. Do you know the name of it?
Nope.
He'll play the titular character.
Let me just point this out. When I say that I'm wreaking my
Time is
revenge
going.
on
That
Matt
is time.
Raspanti,
And that
That is
time is
time.
up.
That's okay.
Guys,
We will
we're,
take that.
we're thinking about Clear and Present Danger, another
There you
John
go.
Clancy
Yeah.
film where he plays Jack Ryan. We're thinking about The Thunderbolts, where he will be replacing the late, great John Hurt as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And, you know, honestly, they wanted to recast because they had this whole plan, and tragically, John Hurt passed. And so their idea of recasting for a long-term plan is they cast an 80-year-old. This is not a good long-term plan, Marvel. What else has Harrison Ford been in, guys? How about Sabrina?
what about the one where he forgot
Sabrina
everything?
with
I
with
still don't know
Whoopi
what you're talking
Goldberg.
about.
Wow.
Also, you in listing all of your Star Wars movies forgot that he was in The Rise of Skywalker as maybe a Force ghost.
That's
He doesn't
Matt
know.
Raspanti.
That was me. Yeah, but
5
I also
points for Mark.
contractually he only wanted to be in one more.
He was
like, I'll do your stupid sequel franchise, but I only want to be in one of them.
Sure. Well, he had
So-
actually asked to have Han Solo killed off at the end of Episode 5.
At the end of Empire, yeah.
And George Lucas really wanted to keep him around, but Harrison Ford was worried that he would get typecast as only doing sci-fi movies. And so George Lucas wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, the studio wanted Tom Selleck to play the role, but thank goodness he was unavailable as he had just committed to making Magnum P.I. And so Lucas was able to get his dream casting of Harrison Ford, who he had first worked with in American Graffiti, who had a smaller part. And he really believed in this guy. And also for Han Solo, I will tell you, the studio wanted Al Pacino. And again, Lucas really lobbied. Han Solo was the guy. So, guys, the real reason we've asked you to come here today.
Luke Skywalker. Hoo-ah! That's a crazy movie.
I don't think that was a Harrison Ford line.
No, that was an Al Pacino line. That's Scent of a Woman, my friend.
All right. So, the real reason we asked you here today is to play the movie game 5 to 9, where you'll have to connect 2 actors through no fewer than 5 and no more than 9 movies. I'm pulling names out of a hat. You guys are going to jot these names down on your game cord. I'll put them up on your game card, not game cord. I'll put them up on the screen. I'm going to put up Elijah Wood. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to happen at all. I'm going to put up Elijah Wood in our from spot. And we're going to put up Sean Connery in our 2 spot. Now, guys, Kevin Bacon is always worth an extra 2 points, our perennial wild card, but we're also going to draw a third name out of this hat as our wild card just for today. And if you can go through that wild card, you'll earn bonus points and my respect. We have Mike Myers here, who I will tell you, because he was an SNL cast member, will also be good for 1 bonus point, as all SNL cast members always get us a bonus point. So, gentlemen, are you ready for the rematch of the century? Your first round was pre-COVID. Now we are in the endemic phase of COVID, but I am so excited that you are back. Guys, we're going to spin our house rule wheel one time that I still have not yet put together. So again, I'm going to spin it in my brain. And each time you hit the house rule, you'll get a bonus point. Guys, today's house rule is going to be from the small screen. So if you can get actors who got their start, who were most famous originally for being on TV, who made the leap to film, or at least were in a film you can connect through, you will get a bonus point. And before we go, guys, of course, as always, we want to apologize in advance to the actors who spent a career building a body of work whose faces we know, but whose names we may butcher, and of course to the hardworking writers, directors, and producers who picked the perfect name for a film that we may likely fumble through today. I swear, we really do love your work. Gentlemen, are you ready? Matt Raspanti, Mark
questions
Brunetti.
real quick about the, I'm sorry, I just cut you off there, but I have a very quick question about the bonus person. You're saying TV to movie, not the other way around. Specifically, someone who got, so a prime example would be like George Clooney.
George Clooney is somebody who was a TV star who then became a movie star. That's correct. He'd be worth a point. We're not going to talk about people like, Elizabeth Shue, who started as a movie star and then went over to TV.
Or Mariska Hargitay, who just is always on TV.
Well, I can't think of a movie that she's in, so I don't know why you'd bring her up.
Anyway, whenever you want to do that, that's fine.
You just have Mariska Hargitay on the brain.
I just like saying that name.
It is fun. All right, guys, we're starting at
Mariska
Elijah
Hargitay.
Wood. If you can get to Mike Myers, it's worth more points. But eventually, you got to land on Sean Connery. Go.
All right.
Talk it out.
Oh,
Well,
so we'll start with Elijah Wood. Where should we?
you want to start from the beginning instead of starting at the end?
You want to start at the end? We can start at the end.
Want to
Sean
start with Mike
Connery.
Myers?
Well, Mike Myers is the wild card. He's the middle.
He's
Sean
going to be in
Connery.
the minute. Yeah,
Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Okay. Start with Sean.
I mean,
Start with Sean.
should we start from our practice thing? We could start with that Indiana Jones film, unless you
sure
have another
can.
Sean Connery film.
So you're talking Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade.
Now, Mike Myers has to be in the middle. It's Elijah Wood we're trying to get to.
Yeah, no, you're right. I wrote that wrong. What's really funny is we can do Sean Connery to Elijah Wood in 2 moves, and I know we're not supposed to.
No, we
Try
gotta
it.
do
Just for
five.
fun.
Don't remember his name, but the guy that played Sala, slash the guy that played Gimli, slash the guy that played Treebeard.
Well, if you can't remember these things,
Can't remember
you're
his
not gonna
name,
get
so
the
I can't
points.
even use him.
No, you
but
can't.
I don't want to play him because that's literally in 2 moves.
That's
And then I
correct.
get to Elijah Wood.
That's correct.
So
Sean Connery was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade,
Last Crusade. Let's go with that.
where we learned that Indiana was the dog's name.
Oh, yeah.
do you know the original name for Indiana Jones?
Go ahead and tell us.
I'm pretty sure you wanted to call it like
Pennsylvania Smith.
no, but that's very close. It was like Indiana Smith, and they were like, we don't really like that at all. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll change it to something else. But yeah, you're very close. It was definitely a State and a Smith last name.
You know, in the TV series, the Chronicles or the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, something like
Ooh,
that. I
yeah.
can't recall a point when he got a PhD. I can't recall him ever going to school. So I'm not sure. Is the doctor just honorary like Dr. Dre?
It's a school of life, yeah, like Dr.
No,
Dre.
he was teaching at a college during one of the movies. So
Sure.
I think he was
How
our
did he
professor.
get that PhD?
Sure.
How did he get it?
When? I mean, by going
When?
to school, I assume, writing a
Yeah,
dissertation.
he went to college at one point.
Riding with Santa Anna, getting smallpox in the wilderness. I don't think he had any time to get his
the Raiders
PhD.
of the
That's my
Lost
point.
Ark was an internship, and he.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we get from Harrison Ford to Elijah
All right,
Wood,
we're going with
maybe
Harrison.
through Mike Myers?
Okay.
Well, how about if we go to Data in the other Harrison Ford Indiana Jones movie?
Okay,
We'll bring
whose
him
name
in.
is?
you say Data?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Short Round?
Oh yeah.
One and the
Data's-
same. He was Data in the Goonies. He was
Yeah,
Short
that's
Round
what I'm saying.
in Indiana Jones and
He's also in Everything Everywhere All
Indiana
at Once.
Jones and
The Temple of Doom.
that's correct. And his name is
Be like I step on fortune cookie.
He won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor for his
Kwan?
turn. Ke Huy Quan, I'll give it to
Ke
you.
Huy Quan.
Ke Huy Quan. He was actually credited as Jonathan Quan, or Jonathan Ke Quan, but Ke Huy Quan.
Definitely not spelling that.
We are doing our best as
Right.
we respect him as an actor. You know, he had left acting because he felt that there were no real roles for Asian actors. But as everybody knows, when he saw Crazy Rich Asians, he believed that maybe Hollywood was ready to create parts for an actor like him. And in his big comeback, he won a Golden Globe. I mean,
Well, not just a Golden Globe. I am convinced he's going to win an Oscar.
we will see. We will see. And
I
by
don't
the
want
time
an
this
actor, right?
runs,
I don't want to do
he
this
has.
connection, but he was also in Gremlins too.
I do not recall
He was
that.
like the touristy photographer kind of guy, which might have been another
I believe you.
stereotype.
He was also in Encino Man.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the kids in the high school. So we're going to go Ke Huy Quan, to whom, through what, to get to maybe Mike Myers, but definitely Elijah Wood.
Should we go classic Goonies?
If you go Goonies, it gives you Josh Brolin, which is really nice to have access to. It also gives you Sean Astin, which puts us
Sean Astin.
very close.
Oh, to Elijah Wood.
But we don't know. I don't know if we want to blow our wad this early.
Yeah, I want to get some of these bonus points here. How can we get to Mike Myers?
I want some of these bonus points. I
Can
want Mike
any of those
Myers
get
in
to
there.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers was in a movie called Inglourious Bastards. Most
He
recently.
was. Or I wouldn't say most recently. He was also in Bohemian Rhapsody.
He's also in Bohemian Rhapsody.
But can we do who was Mouth in Goonies? And then wasn't
He
he in
was in
Austin
Gremlins.
Powers?
He was in Gremlins.
Mouth was?
Yes.
I don't
What's
know
his
if he was in
name?
Austin Powers.
Who was Mouth in Goonies?
If you can't remember the name, we can't use it.
No, he wasn't in Goonies. Oh, in Goonies, yeah.
Mouth in Goonies.
Yeah,
He's
one,
named?
He's one of the
Yeah, he's one of the.
one of the
One of the.
Yeah. It's a start.
it's a start.
Can we remember his name?
I think one of them passed away, right?
Yeah. One of them
Yeah.
did unfortunately pass
That's
away.
Sad. What was his name?
I'm not
One
going to
of
give you
the
that.
Allens? No, his
No,
name's not
no.
Allen.
Tim
No.
Allen?
No,
No.
we're not going there.
Yeah, please don't.
Not Patrick Swayze.
No, he's not Patrick
not
Swayze.
Patrick
Also,
Swayze's brother.
no.
Oh, John Swayze.
Yeah, who's not as cute.
Yeah. So okay. So Ke Huy Quan was in Goonies.
Sean?
Yes. With
You want it?
whom?
Corey.
Corey.
One of the
Corey.
Corys.
One of the Corys.
Corey. One of the
Haim?
Corys.
Do you have a
Feldman.
last name?
Not Haim.
It is
Feldman.
traditional. There we go. Okay.
There
so,
we go.
So Ke Huy Quan was in Goonies, which was written by Christopher Columbus and Steven Spielberg together in a very interesting way of writing, where basically they brainstormed the idea, and Chris Columbus he had an office down the hall from Steven Spielberg, and so he would write a bunch of stuff and then go show it to Steven, and Steven would say, "Oh, that's great. What if they did this next?" And then Chris what if they did that next? And they kind of talked it through, and then Chris would go back down the hall and just keep on writing, and that's how they wrote Goonies.
Oh.
So, all right. So, Goonies with Corey Feldman. And what are we going to do with Corey Feldman as opposed to going to Sean Astin, who can get us to Elijah Wood? You're right. Too fast. Too fast.
Corey Feldman, wasn't he in?
Yeah, he was.
I feel
Yeah.
like he was in an Austin
No.
Powers. I want to get this Mike Myers connection. Was he in Wayne's World?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Come on, we can get these points, man.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of now Mike Myers movies, and I'm just keep envisioning
we
So I
don't-
Married an Axe.
We
Murderer
don't
for some
have to
reason.
do Corey Feldman.
We don't. But Corey Feldman in Goonies also puts us close to what's the movie with the kids where they're walking on the train tracks and that train comes
The
and almost kills them?
Lost Kids.
No,
Corey
no.
Feldman
The
was.
Lost.
So there was The Lost
I'm
Boys.
thinking Stand By Me.
And you're thinking Stand By Me, both of which had Kiefer Sutherland as an antagonist.
Can you do that?
Kiefer Sutherland as an antagonist gives us our TV show.
Well, he's best known for
Well,
movies first.
But
He
as a
made-
child, as an adult, he's best known for 24.
Right. My point is, guys, that we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and find out more.
Hey, it's producer Jason stepping in here real quick to thank you for listening to 5 to 9, a movie game podcast. We're actually really excited to bring this show back for its new season with new and improved audio and video. If you listen to the audio version, make sure you subscribe on your podcast app of choice to make sure you get the newest episodes as soon as they release. And if you want to watch the video as well, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Links to all of these can be found at 5to9game.com. Okay, you followed? You there? You got it? Great. Let's get back to the show.
All right, and we are back, and we're going to start with some fun facts from Jason. Jason, what do you have for us?
So I'm checking things out while you guys are doing things. That's part of my job over here. The name you were thinking of earlier for Gimli is John Rhys Davies.
Hey, yeah.
Right. I cannot confirm Ke Huy Quan was in Gremlins 2. And Indiana Jones has a doctorate in archaeology from Sorbonne in French.
Is that a real college?
I don't know, but at least in the according to the Lost Journal of Indiana Jones,
in the Indiana Jones universe, it's a real university.
The IJEU, yes.
You know, he got his degree from Baruch College.
IJCU.
Brookdale Community.
He attended Chicago
volleyball team.
He attended Chicago University as an undergraduate in the 1920s, and then transferred to Sorbonne in France.
This is all fantastic.
Yeah, it's really nice to
What
know.
about the Harrison Ford movie where he forgets everything?
You're going to have to keep working on that one.
I also forgot to load that one up.
All right. So,
come
guys,
back
where we last left off, we were at Corey Feldman trying to get to Elijah Wood, maybe through Mike Myers if we could do it. Could you go the other way? Could you go Elijah Wood to Mike Myers? Now, Elijah Wood was a child star, so he was in a lot of movies as a child. That's what a child star is. As an adult, he's done fewer movies, but maybe one of his first roles, can you recall, he was wearing a fun little hat and playing a game where you had to use your hands?
Sixth Sense.
Uh-huh.
Nope, not that one.
But that's so good. You're so confident about that. I mean, stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I think I know what you're talking about because I do remember seeing his face. But when I
The
think of his
Wiz?
first role, I don't think that role
The
for
Wiz
some
had
reason.
Fred Savage.
Oh.
I always think of The Good Son when I think of his first
Okay,
role.
who is in The Good Son?
Macaulay Culkin.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We can bring him to Mike Myers.
So another actor that got his start on TV, Donald Trump.
I would say that he was in movies
He was in
before
movies
he was
first.
on TV.
He was in Home Alone
That should
before he
not
was in
be
on TV.
named here.
Either
Yeah.
way,
But Elijah Wood, we can connect to Macaulay Culkin, which can connect us to Joe Pesci.
All right, The Good Son.
but how do we get to Mike Myers?
Oh, we're working our way there.
I hope so.
Joe
All right.
Pesci, Mike Myers.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Macaulay Culkin, who got his start in Uncle Buck, and then John Hughes thought that he was so great that he wrote the part of Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. He wrote that movie in a week.
All based off of Uncle Buck, right?
He wrote that movie for Macaulay Culkin in a week for Macaulay Culkin to play because he had never worked with actors that young, but he just thought Macaulay Culkin was great, and he pitched the movie. And actually, getting back to Chris Columbus, who had co-written The Goonies with Steven Spielberg, he directed Home Alone. And what had happened was he knew he wanted to direct, and he had directed The Adventures in Babysitting, and then he directed a movie about Elvis Cadillac something. I cannot remember the name. It was not a very good movie.
Ford Fairlane.
No, it wasn't that one. That had Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
But what happened was Chris Columbus got the opportunity from John Hughes to direct a movie, and that movie was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But after only a few days on set, he hated working with Chevy Chase, and he walked out on it and thought this is the end. He's never going to get another movie again. But John Hughes, so understanding, said, not a problem. How about you take a crack at this? And handed him Home Alone. He read it and loved it.
A remake of Uncle Buck without the uncle showing up. Is that what that is? No.
I think Uncle,
Well, actually, he did show up. John Candy, they got him for 23 hours and they paid
yeah.
him scale.
but he wasn't Uncle Buck then. He was the leader of a polka, the polka king of whatever.
Polka.
Yeah. But I thought his uncle was Uncle Buck when they were all running around the house. Macaulay Culkin's uncle was one of the names
I
that they ended
cannot
up using that as
confirm
part
that,
of
but
it.
maybe Jason can confirm or deny that the uncle who calls him names has a name himself.
You little jerk.
Yeah, there we go.
yeah.
The little jerk. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're trying to get from
All right,
Macaulay
so now
Culkin to
Macaulay
Corey
Culkin,
Feldman.
Home Alone.
We got a lot of child stars here. We got Elijah Wood, Macaulay Culkin, Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan.
Oh, that was Frank McAllister in a role
Uncle Frank.
in
Uncle
a
Frank.
role originally
Yeah,
written for
Uncle
Kelsey
Buck.
Grammer.
There you go.
Oh.
So how are we going to get there, guys? What was Mike Myers in? Just start throwing out Mike Myers movies.
Halloween,
Shrek.
Shrek.
Only one of
Wayne's
those
World.
had Mike Myers, and I think you know it.
Wait, Shrek?
I mean, Shrek is nice because it gets us Cameron Diaz and Eddie Murphy and John
does.
Lithgow, which is a name that is on the example sheet.
You want to
On
keep with
that.
your mic there.
Oh.
So Eddie Murphy loves playing donkey, and he is a little miffed that they keep making Puss in Boots movies because he wants a donkey movie. He said he would do donkey movies in a heartbeat. He loves it. He loves the character.
I did donkey movies once.
Oh God, that's gotta. That's getting cut.
Oh, that is not getting cut. Or are we monetizing this?
And Eddie Murphy will not respond back to them. Sorry. All right.
That was great. That
Go
was
on.
really good. That was really, really good.
Oh my God. Oh, season 2 bloopers reel in action. Season 2 bloopers reel in full swing. All right.
Bloopers, that's main reel.
Man,
That's the promo.
This is A-roll right here.
All right, guys, we got to keep it going.
That's the TikTok reel.
We got to keep it going. How are we going to get from Macaulay Culkin to Corey Feldman? Maybe through Mike Myers, maybe not. Mike Myers, you got Wayne's World. You got Shrek. You got a lot of Shrek movies. So many Shrek movies. 4 Shrek movies. And then 2 Puss in Boots movies. What do we have here, guys? Was Cameron Diaz in anything with Mike Myers?
Yeah, Shrek.
Oh,
We know that.
good point.
Yeah.
Right. We went in a circle.
Now we're back in Shrek. It's like the hardest thing is going to be getting out of this Macaulay Culkin shenanigans. that
I don't
we're in.
know. You know, Macaulay Culkin was in a lot more movies than
Yeah.
folks think.
But he was in a lot of movies where he was the only notable name.
Yes and no. Like, okay, so who else was in Home Alone? There were a lot of people. He
Yeah.
was the star.
The guy who did the Wonder Years voice.
Yeah, whose name is?
Joe Pesci.
Not Joe Pesci.
So Joe Pesci was in it, and also
Michael
who was his Marv?
Carrier.
He was Marv. Who was Marv?
Michael
Wait, Marv
Carrier.
did the voiceover for the Wonder Years?
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. They had to come up with, but you gave it to them. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah. Daniel
Fine.
Stern.
Fun fact.
Sorry, Eric. I thought you pointed to me.
So guys, I was pointing to you to see which one was named Marv.
oh, we could do. Oh, I got it. We can do
He was in a pirate movie, I think.
Joe Pesci, who was in Home Alone 2 with Daniel Stern.
I mean, you're just going in circles now.
All right. It is a connection, but
What else was
Macaulay
Daniel Stern in?
To be honest with
Because
you,
Daniel Stern would be worth the point from the small screen, from his voiceover work in the Wonder Years.
is that where he started?
That's what he's best known for prior to that movie. Yeah, absolutely.
I would also say Michael Myers is
Let's
best
do
known
the
for his
thing.
TV work.
I would agree.
Prior
And
to movies.
also, he got started with TV. That'd be worth the point if you can get to it.
We can get him.
Clock is ticking, people.
Yeah, and then the thing that's really throwing me from starting at the end and then starting from the other thing is that
How do
we
we get
have to get somewhere to Corey Feldman, and that's,
Maybe.
Yeah.
that's the bummer.
We really
Maybe.
only have
Or we
one
could
or two
just-
left after Daniel Stern.
Or you can change it up.
Yeah, because we only really have to have 5.
Minimum 5, maximum 9. That's correct. The game is 5 to 9.
Feldman,
Oh, yeah.
move on.
Keep it moving, folks.
Okay,
All right, should we do the Joe Pesci connection?
I think
feel
the
that's
Joe Pesci
easiest
connection-
one.
gets us to a few other things.
All right, let's do that
Um,
one then.
All right, so we'll do Joe Pesci.
All right. Yep, we got Joe Pesci. And what was he in? So many things.
Well, he's in a lot of things. He's in Casino.
He is.
He's in Goodfellas.
Every gangster
Sure
movie
is.
ever made.
Yeah, he's in the
He's an original
Irishman.
gangster.
Yeah.
Is he an original? Oh no, never mind. I'm
My
thinking of the
Cousin
movie
Vinny.
American.
That's a
Gangster.
very good
He is
one.
in a great movie because that also gets us back to Child Stars with our boy.
But we got to go from
If
my
only
cousin
today's
Vinny,
wild card was Child Stars.
my
I
cousin
know.
Vinny to Corey
That should be a wild
Feldman.
card on the wild
A
card
different
wheel.
day.
So Joe Pesci was
What day
in.
is that? We should...
You want to do my cousin Vinny there?
Yeah, let's do my cousin Vinny. All right.
Now we just need to hope that Marissa Tomei or the Karate Kid were both in a movie with
Who's the Karate Kid?
Ralph.
Macchio.
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph
Sure.
Macchio.
Sure. He's been in some things.
Yeah. Like the Karate Kid.
Yeah. And the Karate Kid too.
And
And my cousin.
was Mr. Miyagi ever in the Goonies at all?
He was not.
Damn it.
I think he was One-Eyed Willie.
Pat Morito.
Yeah.
Was not in the Goonies. But he was in the next
Wow.
Karate Kid with Hilary Swank.
right.
What are we going, Hillary Swank to Corey Feldman
I don't
somehow?
think that we
Well,
are.
we can. I
don't think
there's
that
a
we
way
are.
to get
Although
there.
Hilary Swank had a small part in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a different teen vampire movie than The Lost Boys.
Well, was that her start?
I don't think any of these things are relevant because that would be way too many movies. How are we going to go from My Cousin Vinny to Corey Feldman or Ke Huy Quan or Harrison Ford, but eventually to Sean Connery?
Yeah.
How about some movies that Marissa Tomei was?
Okay.
It helps if you don't whisper to the side,
Sorry,
but talking
Marissa
to your mic. Because
Tomei.
it's a podcast, you guys.
My
All
Cousin
right.
Vinny.
So Marissa Tomei was in a few good movies.
She was.
She was in The Wrestler.
She
Mickey
was.
Rourke.
He was.
Darren
Darren Aronofsky film.
She's also in a lot of the Spider-Man films, the last 3 Spider-Man films.
She was, absolutely.
Which gets you...
Well, hold on.
couple
Hold
other
on.
people?
You just figured something out.
Oh.
Because Marissa Tomei was in the last 3 Spider-Man films with somebody who was in...
Corey Feldman.
Wait, no. You said it earlier that when you went to the Goonies, you could get to this person and that would open up a lot of connections. Who was that person?
Sean Astin?
Nope.
Nope.
That would get us there too fast.
That was right.
Who else was in the Goonies? You said it.
Data.
Oh.
We literally started with Ke Huy Quan. Is how we got to the Goonies, and he was in the Goonies with instead of Corey Feldman, instead of Sean
Josh
Astin,
Brolin.
Josh Brolin. That's right, and Josh
Brolin would get us
Brolin
there.
was in what movie with? Honestly, Marissa Tomei was in it. Oh my goodness!
Oh, he was the Sandman in Spider-Man.
No.
Get out of here,
No. But you're very close.
Josh Brolin. You're thinking of Thomas Hayden Church, who was originally on Wings, and that would get you a bonus point from the small screen.
But was
That's
Marissa
not where we're going.
Tomei in Infinity War?
She was not in Infinity War, but the movie that came after it.
She was in Endgame?
She was in Avengers Endgame, and guys, you have done it.
She's at the funeral,
That
right?
is correct. You
Oh,
guys
my
have
God.
just won 5-9. Let's total it up. You guys, I'm so proud of you. You were a little aimless there for a bit, but in the end, you made it work. Let's see. I need 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's bring these over.
Beat you.
Bring them over here.
Yeah, so who won between me and him? I need to know that.
Yeah.
Did I win?
I'm pretty sure that you both won.
I feel like I got the best laugh
It's
with
a
that
team
one line.
sport. Guys, let's talk it through. We had to get from Elijah Wood to Sean Connery. Mike Myers would have been worth 3 bonus points. Kevin Bacon, always worth 2 bonus points. The house rule is from the small screen, worth 1 bonus point every time you do it. And if you get through an SNL cast member, that is 1 point. So we went from Elijah Wood, who was in The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin, with Joe Pesci. With Joe Pesci, I missed something. He's in Home Alone with Joe Pesci. I'm missing a movie over here. Give me a second. I just put Macaulay Culkin and then Joe Pesci, and that's not going to cut it. Let me move my
Cousin
board
Vinny, then.
around. Boop. All right. So where were we? We were on Home Alone. Apparently, when he puts his hands up on his cheeks and slaps them, he was supposed to put his hands down and scream, but he kept his hands up, and they loved it, and it worked. Great story. So Elijah Wood was in The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin, who was in Home Alone, with Joe Pesci, who was in My Cousin Vinny with Marissa Tomei, who was in Avengers Endgame with Josh Brolin, who was in Goonies with Ke Huy Quan, who was in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom with Harrison Ford, who was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with Sean Connery. That's 10 minus 7 movies, good for 3 points. We did not hit our wild card of Mike Myers. Jason, do you know a way we could have gone through Mike Myers? Do you have that queued up for us?
I have a couple really interesting lines with and without Mike Myers.
Okay. Well, give me a Mike Myers connection here.
Mike Myers connection, we can go from Elijah Wood through Sin City to Jessica Alba, who was in The Love Guru
That's
with
correct.
Mike Myers.
That could have done it for us. Give me one more with Mike Myers.
Mike Myers can then go through Austin Powers Gold Member with Michael Caine, who was in A Bridge Too Far with Sean Connery.
Oh, but that would have been 4 movies. Either way, it was both good ways to get to and from Mike Myers. So, did you get The House Rule, which is from the small screen? Elijah Wood did not start out on TV. Macaulay Culkin, no. Joe Pesci, no. Marissa Tomei, yes, from her original days on A Different World in the first season. It was a spin-off of The Cosby Show starring Lisa Bonet, who did not want to work directly alongside Bill Cosby anymore. And in fact, she was written off the show when she got pregnant because, as Bill Cosby, the executive director of A Different World, said,
Bill Cosby.
said Lisa Bonet may be pregnant, but his daughter from The Cosby Show, first name I cannot remember, last name Huxtable, was not going to be pregnant in this TV show. So you do get a bonus point from Marissa Tomei. Josh Brolin, was he best known for TV first? I don't think that he was. Ke Huy Quan, always a movie star to us. Harrison Ford, movies. Sean Connery, movies. So you do get the 1 bonus point for the house rule today, which brings you to 4 points. We're going to put it in the win column. Gentlemen, you have won. Jason, what was your other fun connection?
I had some interesting ones here. I was trying to find TV stars here. So I went from Elijah Wood through North to Scarlett Johansson.
North would have been a real good one.
To Scarlett Johansson, then through Hitchcock to get us Jessica Biel, who got her start on Seventh Heaven.
Potentially. You also could have said North, which starred the famous Bruce Willis, who got his start on Moonlight.
That's true.
That's right. He was a TV star before he became an action star in Die Hard, where when they originally showed him in the trailers, people were laughing at it because he was known for his comedic work, and the idea of him being an action star was hilarious to them.
From there, and again, there's only 4 steps, but Jessica Biel then gets us through Playing for Keeps with Uma Thurman,
Who saw Playing for Keeps? Did you see Playing for Keeps?
I didn't see Playing for Keeps.
You know what? We're not the target audience.
No.
Some people love Playing for Keeps.
Are we playing for keeps right now?
But Uma Thurman
You
gets
get
us
to keep my heart.
Uma Thurman through the Avengers then gets us to Sean Connery.
Oh, that's the different Avengers, and I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
That is very well done.
Wait, he was in that one?
Based on the 1960s show of the same name. So, Matt Raspanti, Mark Brunetti, thank you so much for taking the time to come back on 5 to 9 and rematch today for playing our game. You've each won the official 5 to 9 gamepad, which comes with 50 game cards and is also available now at 5to9game.com. Listeners, make sure to check out Grounds for Sculpture. Make sure to check out Mark's band Puppy Grease, which we deliberately did not talk about because we don't care.
That.
And to check...
Oh my God, it never gets old. And it's still funny.
And check out Matt Raspanti's band, Foes of Fern. And if you 5 to 9ers listening out there in the podcast, either were chomping at the bit, yelling out a better solution to today's challenge as we played through it, enter for a chance to come on our show by beating us at our own game. Get your official 5 to 9 game pads and game cards at 5to9game.com. That's the number 5, T-O, the number 9, game.com. Play today's challenge, post your game card on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and tag at 5 to 9 game in your post. High scores as well as creativity and entertainment value will all be considered. This has been 5 to 9. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg. Our show is recorded at the Showroom Cinema on Cookman Avenue in fantastic Asbury Park, New Jersey. Our producers are Jason Portizo and Laura Ginsberg. Our theme music, Monday Night on an Otherwise Empty Beach, is by me and on my album Fire, which you can find on all streaming platforms. Subscribe to 5 to 9, the podcast, through the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube if you want to look at us too, or literally anywhere else you get podcasts. Follow and play along with us on social media at 5 to 9 Game, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can play today's challenge or make up your own and play with or against the global 5 to 9 community. Just don't forget to tag at 5 to 9 Game when you do. Thanks for listening, and let's play again soon.